Hey everybody. So I got one of these like Kylie Jenner style like sweatsuit things. It's like full blown crop top. And it kind of looks like I joined a cult. Like it's too white. But my plan is to actually dye it. So this is kind of the look. It's like a heathered gray. It's kind of hard to find sweatsuits that are 100% cotton and totally white. So I have a lot of dyes that are like neutral colors that I wanted to try out on this one. So I'm going to wash it and wrap it up and dye it.
These patterns I think turned out really well, and I want to do something similar on the pants and this hoodie, and I want them to be matching, but obviously they're not going to be super matchy. But this pattern was really just kind of scrunched, so it's not really like a specific folding pattern. Look at how pretty that is. I love that. So I'm going to start with the pants. I'll put these aside. So after washing and drying the whole jogger suit, I'm going to start with the pants first. And I'm going to lay it flat and line up the seams as best I can. And then I'm just going to start to scrunch. I'm doing one leg at a time. And then I'm going to just sort of scrunch it into a circular shape the best that I can. I mean, it doesn't matter so much for ice dyeing, but it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to tie it up with some string just to keep it together. And I'm going to tie it like you would kind of tie a present, loosely, and then go around a few different times just to kind of keep the circular shape of the whole thing. Maybe I'll do one more around it just to keep it together. That's the back, which looks great. There's the front. So then I'm going to set that aside, and then I'm going to work on the hoodie. So I'm going to work my way towards the center of the hoodie. So I'm going to start with the sleeves, which is the biggest part. I'm going to start with the right sleeve, and then do the hood, come to the middle, scrunch it into the center, and then scrunch the other sleeve and tuck the little drawstrings in. And then again, I'm going to tie it up like a present with string. I'm going to do a similar scrunch for both because they're a set and I want them to look like they're a set. So I'm just gently tying it up, wrapping it around. It's kind of awkward to turn it over when it's not together yet, so just going to wrap it around as many times as I need to use up all the string and tuck in any like parts that are falling out. And there it is. So I have the hoodie and the pants ready to go. I'm going to soak these pieces in a soda ash solution. So in a bucket here I have a gallon of water, and I'm going to put 2 cups of soda ash into the water and stir it up to make sure that it's all dissolved, because it's a pretty strong soda ash solution. And I got the soda ash online, and I'll put the link down in the description. I'll put the link for all of the supplies I used in case you want to use these same supplies. So just make sure you get it really nice and mixed up. And then I'm just going to put my pieces into the soda ash and get them completely submerged. And I'm going to let them soak for at least 20 minutes to an hour or two, just while I'm setting up the rest of the dye and my space where I like to dye. So I have made a little contraption for the dyeing process. I put a screen on top of a large Rubbermaid, and I'm going to squeeze out the pieces that I've been soaking and put them on the screen, so that way any of the drip can go through the screen into the Rubbermaid, because I'm going to put the ice on top and it's going to melt. So now I'm going to put ice onto the fabric, and it's wet, so the ice will stick to the fabric. And I'm just going to pile as much ice as I can onto the bundles of fabric and kind of make sure they're totally covered. So once I have it completely covered in ice, I'm going to take out my dye, and I'm going to put on a mask because it can get into your nose and it's powder, so you want to be careful. And I'm just going to start to carefully put dye onto the top of the ice. Now, I've seen people do it where they put it directly on the fabric. That's a different way of doing it. This is just how I did it. So, you can play with it. And this is shiitake, I think, so I'm putting a lot on there because it's like a neutral and I really love it. Then I'm going to use coral, and I'm just trying to kind of put it a little bit everywhere, like sort of evenly, because I want to make sure that the pants and the top get as much even distribution as possible, even though it's very hard to do. So I'm adding some rust, and the color before that was wisteria, which is a really pretty purple. I'm just really having fun with the colors, and I'm excited to see how they're going to melt and kind of blend into each other. That is the fun of ice dyeing. Here's the setup zoomed out so you can see how I made it. And you can see it's starting to melt a little bit, and the dye is going into the ice. So it's all starting to happen. Here it is. It's been melting overnight, and it looks very saturated with color. So I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to actually do more dye on the other side because I wanted it to be very saturated. I could have just left it, but I wanted it to have a lot of dye. So here it is. I did the same distribution with more ice. I was saving up ice overnight, so I had enough ice, and I'm going to do the same process again. So now all the ice is melted, and it's time to do the reveal, which is always the most exciting part. And I'm just going to cut apart all of the string, which is also dyed and kind of cool looking, and take a look and see what has happened. And wow, it really turned out cool. These are the pants, and they have a lot of the steel and the shiitake on them. And of course, they're going to kind of lighten up after I rinse them and wash them. But I'm just going to put them on the drying rack, and let's take a look and see what the hoodie looks like. I'm probably going to keep that string. Oh wow, so the hoodie is looking very orange and coral and yellow, and there's not a lot of white on the hoodie. There's some down at the bottom there with also some shiitake or brushed steel. So I think it looks really cool. It looks very geological. All right, so I've washed and dried my jogger suit with Synthropol. It's Dyer's detergent, and I think it turned out really nice. You can see it goes from coral to purple to gray and to yellows. So it's a really cool combination of colors, and the pants turned out a little more purple and gray. So they're really fun, and they took the dye really, really well. Let me know in the comments if you have done ice dyeing and what colors you've done. I'm really like addicted to ice dyeing. I want to do more. And if you like this video, be sure to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe for more dyeing tips.